You are listening to Tech Chat with Samantha, the podcast for service business owners who are done running their business from memory and ready to build something that actually runs without them. Each week, Samantha Pointer, business systems and AI automation architect, brings you practical systems thinking, real talk about automation, and the kind of clarity that turns operational chaos into a business that works. If you are ready to stop being the bottleneck, you are in the right place. Here is your host, Samantha Pointer.
Welcome back to Tech Chat with Samantha. I'm Samantha Pointer, Business Systems and AI Automation Architect, and this is Season 2, Build the Business Behind the Business. Last week, we talked about the SPE systems framework and the 6 systems every service business needs to have working. Today, we are going to go into the first one we are covering in depth this season, and it might be the most underestimated system of all 6. We are talking about your delivery system. What happens after a client says yes? There is a moment that happens in almost every service business, and most owners do not even notice it. A lead becomes a client, the contract is signed, the payment comes through, and then something quietly shifts. The urgency that drove the sales process disappears. The energy that went into getting that client does not automatically transfer into serving that client. And the person who was so excited to start working with you begins to wonder in the back of their mind whether they made the right decision. That window right after yes is one of the most important moments in your entire client relationship. And most businesses have no system for it at all. They have good intentions, they have talent, they genuinely want to do great work, but they do not have a documented, repeatable process for what happens from the moment payment is confirmed to the moment the engagement closes. And without that, delivery becomes dependent on one thing: how much time, energy, and bandwidth the owner has that week. When delivery feels different from client to client, most business owners blame capacity. They think they need to hire someone, raise their prices, or take on fewer clients. Sometimes that is true, but most of the time, inconsistent delivery is not a capacity problem. It's a documentation problem. When there is no documented process, every client engagement starts from scratch. You are making the same decisions over and over. You are recreating the same emails, the same check ins, the same onboarding steps from memory every single time. And the quality of what the client experiences depends entirely on where you are mentally and physically that week. That is not sustainable. And more importantly, it's not scalable. Here is what inconsistent delivery is really telling you: the system does not exist outside of your head yet. And anything that only lives in your head is one bad week away from breaking down. So let me give you 3 signs to listen for. If any of these sound familiar, you are not alone, but you do need to pay attention. The first sign is that every client onboarding feels like you are starting from scratch. You're pulling together information, sending the same intake questions you sent the last time, figuring out the same logistics you figured out last time. There is no template, there is no workflow. It is all happening manually every single time. The second sign is that clients are unclear about what happens next. They signed and paid, and now they are waiting. And because there's no automated sequence that walks them through what to expect, they're either emailing you to ask or sitting in silence wondering if they made the right choice. Both of those create doubt, and doubt is expensive. The third sign is that your delivery quality varies based on your bandwidth. Your best clients, the ones who got you on a great week, had a different experience than the ones who came in during a chaotic month. That inconsistency is not a you problem, it is a systems problem. When the process is documented and automated, the client experience stays consistent regardless of what is happening on your end. I want to be clear about something. Organized delivery does not mean robotic delivery. It does not mean the client feels like you are moving through a conveyor belt. It means the opposite. When your delivery system is organized, clients feel taken care of. They know what is coming, they know what is expected of them, they know what you are doing on your end. And because of all of that is running on the system, you get to show up fully present in the moments that actually require your attention and expertise. Organized delivery starts with one thing: documentation. Before any automation, before any tool, you have to be able to describe your delivery process clearly in writing without referencing a specific client or situation. What happens first? What happens next? Who is responsible for what? What does the client receive and when? If you cannot describe it that way, the system does not exist yet. And that is where the organized step of the SPE systems framework comes in. You clarify the process first. Then you build automation around it. Then and only then do you think about how AI can enhance it. But it all starts with getting the process out of your head and into a form that can run without you holding it together. Here's the business case for fixing this, and I want you to sit with it for a minute. Your marketing gets them in the door. Your delivery system determines whether they ever tell anyone about you. Every referral you have ever received came from a client who had a remarkable enough experience to talk about it. Every testimonial you have ever collected came from someone who felt taken care of. Every repeat client came back because the first experience was worth repeating. When your delivery system is inconsistent, you are leaving all of that on the table, not intentionally, but consistently. And the reverse is also true. A poor delivery experience does not just cost you that client, it costs you every person they would have referred. It costs you the testimonial they would have left. It costs you the repeat business that should have been yours. Most business owners think about delivery in terms of the current client in front of them. The real cost is everything that client represents beyond the engagement you are in right now. If you heard yourself in any of these three signs today, the first step is not to go build a whole new onboarding process this weekend. The first step is clarity. That's where my systems clarity call comes into play. A systems clarity call is a complimentary 30-minute call where I take a real-time look at your online presence and your business systems. By the end, you will know exactly where your biggest gap is, what it is costing you, and what to fix first. No pressure, no obligation, just clarity. This call is for you if you are a service business owner actively investing in your growth and ready for real systems work. The link to apply is in the show notes, or you can go to organizingguru.com/15. Your delivery system is the only system your client actually lives inside. Everything else happens before they become a real client. This is where your promise either gets kept or quietly broken. Build it like it matters, because it does. Thanks for listening to Tech Chat with Samantha. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Tech Chat with Samantha. If today's episode resonated and you are ready to get clarity on what is actually holding your business back, book a systems clarity call at organizingguru.com/15. It is a complimentary 30-minute call where Samantha takes a real-time look at your online presence and your business systems. You will leave knowing exactly what to fix first. New episodes drop every Tuesday. See you next week.